Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Ikeo, and I'm back with another video. So let's not waste any time on this one. So this is how to identify a trend. This is not your typical, oh, just draw a trend line, and if it breaks out this trend line, like, have you seen these little weak ass videos that be like this? Oh, if price just breaks out this trend line, you sell. If price breaks above, you just no. This is a little bit more, slightly bit more complicated, but is a lot cleaner and easier to look at once you mark the charts up correctly. You know what to look for. So, how to identify a trend? So it is very simple, as what you're looking at is something I drew for you guys. It's very easy to identify a trend. So first thing first, I want to show you guys how to, the easiest way to identify a trend. It's so simple. Just see where price is going overall. Is that simple. So for example, if we block out all of this, everything in this area, right, is very self-explanatory where price is going. Price is going what? If we only seen this right here, price is on what? A uptrend. It is very simple. I know I just joked about people with these trend lines, but it is very obvious. Price is just constantly going up. But how do you go into detail of how to identify a trend early and get your entries in early? It's not just like, oh, just this large movement. You see, like, okay, obviously it's on the uptrend. Obviously it's buying pressure. Obviously it's bullish pressure. So that's the easy way to identify a trend. It just obviously just going to higher time frames, looking at the just overall what market structure is doing. Market structure is going up, boom, 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 boom. Simple. Right now, market is just kind of like in a very weird area. We do not know where it's on an uptrend or a downtrend yet. But typically, since we just had this entire bullish movement here, and then we had a retest and stuff, like, since we had this entire bullish movement, it could do whatever it wants to do at this point. If it sells, if it goes below here, obviously it's no longer a bullish trend. It's selling off. Yeah, but it's very easy to identify a trend. I just don't want to complicate it with you guys. It's very easy to identify. Like, honestly, you just go to the higher time frames, even the daily time frame. We can even go to the daily time frame and just look at like what market is doing. Like, obviously it is literally just going up. That's just its trend. So right now it has bullish volume. Right now it is in the bullish market. Obviously, if it was any other way, like for example, if price or market structure looks like this, obviously we'd be like, okay, obviously it's in a bearish market. It's in a selling market right now. Obviously, you know what I mean? Just that straightforward. That's how easy it is just to identify a trend. But if you want to get your perfect entries and stuff like that, let's go back to BTC where I had that diagram drew out for you guys and stuff like that. To help, how do you get it, your entries, how to get in, how to get out, how to be early on a trend, how to identify a trend on the lower time frames and the smaller time frames before the big movements happen, how to make fucking barishi, how to make money. This is why we all are here. Don't let anyone tell you different, that we're just here to have fun and just loot. No, we're here to make money. So let's not BS around. So repeat after me. On a uptrend, price would never break its higher highs or its higher lows. On a uptrend, price would never, I repeat, never on a uptrend break its higher highs or its higher lows. On a downtrend, okay, follow me, family. On a downtrend, price would never break its lower highs and its lower lows. I will repeat this again because it is so simple and I cannot stress this enough. On a downtrend, price would never break its lower highs and its lower lows. Only on a downtrend. Okay, Ikeo, what happens if it breaks its, if it's on a downtrend and it breaks its lower highs and its lower lows, or if it's on an uptrend and it breaks its higher highs and higher lows? Okay, obviously that means the trend is over. Obviously that means price is there's a 50-50 chance price is going to go the other way, because price respects its higher highs and higher lows. Price respects its lower lows and lower highs on a downtrend. On an uptrend, it respects its higher highs and higher lows. Price would just never just break these just because. It's not just going to break its higher highs or higher lows just because. It's just not. He was like, well, you just drew the line. Oh, you just drew the line. Oh, that's not how market actually moves. It's easier just to teach it. No. Okay. Gotcha. That's something for you. I literally made 20 racks off Bitcoin just by just the same thing I just teach all over here. A downtrend, lower high, lower low. Uptrend, higher high, higher low. Boom. Let's go to Bitcoin here. Let me erase all this because I have alerts and stuff like this for here. Let me erase all this for you. Just give me 1 second, family. So on this move right here, this is why I made money on Bitcoin. I sold the fuck out of Bitcoin. Excuse me for my language, but All right, so let's look at Bitcoin here since we're on this chart. Since we just talked about this, on a downtrend, price would never break its lower highs or lower lows if it's on a real downtrend. There's no such thing as fake outs. There's no such thing as market just went the other direction without any indication, while showing us no. On a downtrend, it will never break its lower highs or its lower lows. On a uptrend, it will never break its higher highs or higher lows. I have to literally drill this into you guys' head because y'all be like, oh, but let me get into a live action how I make money off this Bitcoin trade. So I had my support, I had my resistance, I had my higher high, I had my higher lows. So once price broke below here, I entered a buy because previously, I entered a sell. My apologies. Price was concentrating. What did we just talk about? Lower highs and lower lows. So I had my support or my resistance area. I said once price break here, I will wait for an indication. Here's the indication. Price previously below this level went here. So I said if it breaks below here, that would be the indication. Okay. So I entered a trade. Well, technically I entered here. This is exactly where I entered here. And I just scalped it. If you guys know what scalping means. I literally entered the trade here. This was my stop loss, was this lower high. My TP, I was scalping this trade, was here. I was supposed to be in and out. You know what I mean? This was my first TP. Not saying I closed my entire trade, but this was just my first TP. Okay. And then obviously I zoomed out of the charts to see where did price go previously. And I started marking up these low key. And I just don't want to confuse you guys. Let me go back to the chart. So I entered a sell here. And this was my first TP. This is where I entered a sell. I entered here. Okay. This is where I entered my sell. Does this not look familiar to you guys? Like let's cut the BS. Does this not look familiar to you guys? What does this look like? Let's go ahead and mark it for you guys. Here, 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 here. What does this look like to you guys? Does this look familiar? Does this not look familiar? Oh. This was a downtrend. This was a downtrend. You see, I had a lower high. It had a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low. It's literally rinse and repeat in that simple. Now, if it was an uptrend, obviously it'll look something like this. All I did was just flip the charts. Stay with me, family. It obviously was an uptrend. It broke above the support and resistance level. It will have a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. But for some reason, if you guys don't believe me, also I made money on USD JPY. Ooh, let me flip the chart real quick. Made money off this USD JPY. I entered my trade right here. Price created with what? A higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. What is price going to do next? What is price going to do next? Obviously, it has to create a higher low. So it's going to create a higher low and it's going to continue up. Now, price is not just going to do this. It's just not. Price is not going to do that. If it does that, then guess what? We are no longer in a uptrend. We're no longer in a bullish trend, okay? Does this not look familiar to what we've been talking about? Let me go back. Hope you guys are not losing me. Let me go back. Does that not look familiar to what we've been just basically explaining this entire video? I do not want to make this video too long because it's very simple. Did that not just look like the uptrend? It had a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And you could have got in an entry of any of these points of this higher of the higher high. Any of these higher highs you could have got in. On a downtrend, any of the lower highs you could have got in. Or the break of the lower lows, vice versa. I just showed you in a live action on a real chart what it looks like on a downtrend. I just showed you a live action on a real chart what it looks like on a uptrend. Let's go back to it. So you guys not lose me. On BTC, it literally created lower lows, lower highs. lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. This is obviously a downtrend. Obviously. And you could have got in any of these points. I was lucky and fortunate enough to get in here, and I held my trade all the way to here. I made damn near fucking 50K off this trade. And my stop loss was here. Why, you may ask, my stop loss is here? Why is your stop loss above this line? Because this is a higher high. If price breaks above here, what was the first thing I taught you guys early in this video? If you're on a downtrend, price should not ever break a higher high or a higher low. If you're on a downtrend, if you're on a uptrend, price should not break what? It's literally the same thing. It's like it's so simple. You see how price, when it was going down, it did not come back up here and break here. It did not. Once it sold below here and created its lower high, or lower high, lower low, lower high, lower high, lower, just rinse and repeat. It did not just, just out of nowhere, it faked me out and it came all the way back up here. It did not. So this was my stop loss. And as it was going down, I started moving my stop loss to, of course, the higher high. So just that's literally called just, but it's literally that simple. Like, I cannot make it any more simpler than that. But let me go over it one more time and give you a live example so you guys are not confused. In a uptrend, repeat after me. In a uptrend, price would never break what? Price would never break its higher highs or higher lows. In a downtrend, price would never break what? Price would never break its lower highs and lower lows. Now, let's go back and look at it as an example on a live chart of a downtrend. Let's start with downtrend. On a downtrend, this is Bitcoin. It created a what? It created a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower, rinse and repeat. Price did not just come back up here and break this higher high. It did not. So this would have been a great area to put your stop loss and selling below this level, the support or resistance level. All right, now let's go look at a live action of a uptrend. Okay. Price did what? Price created a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Right now, I just created a new higher high. What is it going to do next? I cannot stress this enough. It is going to create a higher low. If prices somehow just breaks the higher lows just out of nowhere, then guess what? We are no longer in what? A uptrend. Okay? This is very self-explanatory. I cannot stress this enough. Do not complicate this, okay? Do not complicate. It's so easy to identify a trend and get in on trends and get in your great entries, okay? Go to the higher time frames, mark your charts properly, look at the overall market structure, okay? And then look for your higher lows and lower highs, okay? And you can drop down to the lower time frames to find those. But sometimes you're fortunate enough where literally the 4 hour will literally show you all that regardless. Sometimes you have to drop down to the 1 hour because the 1 hour has more candlesticks so you can see where market structure is. That is true. I'm going to tell you guys that if you cannot identify the higher lows and lower highs, drop the time frame. Do not drop down to no damn 5 minutes, 2 minute, 1 minute. Drop down to the 30 minute, 15, or the hour to mark up your higher lows, your lower highs, all that's the good stuff, okay? But I'll catch you guys in the next video. Hope this was informational. Also, I'm going to leave 2 pictures. Or actually, yes, I'm going to leave 2 pictures for you guys. Basically just explaining what we just went over, and also this drawing, my lovely drawing. I know I can draw. I know. Yeah, I gotta hype me up. You guys can screenshot this if this helps you, but I'll also leave a screenshot down below where you guys can just say it to your camera roll.